heroes find themselves along the west road, out of Storm's Fall to the west, about 6 days journey from the city, potentially. You're a little unsure. You traveled west out of west. You traveled east out of West Fork for a period of time, then left the road. Then time didn't pass correctly, and then you rushed back to the road. You were an unfamiliar place on the road, and you've traveled it more than half a day along it. The distance from West Fork to Storm's Fall being probably about a 7-day journey. This is the West Road and the East Road, and the King's Road and the Queen's Road are all well traveled. Specifically, the West Road is very well traveled, as it is the main highway, one would say, between Storm's Fall and the coast. So any sort of major trade between the northern reaches and the rest of the world is either going to have to go down the West Road all the way to the coast to be put onto ships and out to the rest of the world, or around the Storm Rage Mountains to the east, and then down through the passes and the foothills between the Storm Rage and the Dwarfhold Mountains into the Western Kingdoms. Some major, I guess some trade, not major trade, occurs in the summertime, where some caravans attempt to brave the passes, which is your tribe is familiar with, and often has escorted. But even during the summer, those are tough routes to travel. They are high and windy, and it's freaking cold. There's snow-capped peaks year round. So only cargo that needs to get south very quickly goes that way, or cargo that doesn't want to have scrutiny going south goes that way. But you find yourselves along the West Road, somewhere further east than you were. So it could be exactly 6 days. It might be a little bit more. It could be less. You all just kind of made it. You wake up on the morning after the equinox, all well rested to the extent that you all needed that. You came out of a meeting with the Winter Queen herself to be encountered by a white dragon that essentially terrorized you. Like, you had to escape on fear of death and dismemberment, or being eaten. I don't know, like, what you'd have to, who knows what the white dragon would have done. So through fear and exhaustion and everything, it's like hunger is the best seasoning. Exhaustion is the best way to get a good night's sleep. And you all were pretty damn tired. The sun rises on the day after the equinox. You hear birds singing. You see some wildflowers blooming around your camp. It looks to be like a day. Oh no, it's the first day of spring, not the vernal. It's not the equinox. It's the first day of spring, which is different. On the day after the first day of spring, I should say, you wake up. And
can I suggest that I woke up an hour early just to conjure my familiar again?
Absolutely, if you would like to. You, as the sun starts to break, I got business to do. I gotta get my friend back, having been chomped or swatted.
Valiantly sacrificed himself.
Valiantly, indeed. At what cost? Is he pissed? It's the same spirit. He felt that. And you just brought him back.
I think he's been through worse.
Right.
We've seen what Alfonz is used to.
We have. You all awaken? enjoy a breakfast of hardtack and whatever else you got. Do your regular daily maintenance. You get some stretches out. This is probably the most tension you have felt in weeks since joining one another, because you guys have not had this intense of a set of events one after another. A night of firefighting, a day of walking, mixed with encounters, mixed with ending up in the Feywild, mixed with meeting the queen of the Winter Fey map herself, mixed into Dragon Escape. Like, truly some main character shit going on. Are we headed east to Storm's Fall? East to the Kingswood? North, straight into the Kingswood? We going back to visit Matt? We going back south? We going south to go get the dragon? We're after him. What's the plan?
Yeah. How do we want to get to the middle of the Kingswood?
Are we going straight there?
Yeah, also a
Yeah,
question.
I would
You guys
like to.
have the summer
Oh, yeah.
solstice is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 weeks minus a day away. So you got a lot of time. 15 times 9. You got over 90 days to get there.
And back.
And back.
A Hobbit's Tale. Bilbo Baggins.
Pilot likes to get straight to the action and go see Titania
Good.
and question her.
You guys do not have enough provisions to
Yeah, I didn't think so.
like wander around the Kingswood for a period of time, like unguided, like unmapped, unguided. Pilot, you feel a gentle on your wrist, this mark that is there. You feel a gentle pull eastward and slightly northward. I mean, it's it's not even like a pull, really. It's more of a like
Instinct?
It's more like if you face the sun, one side of you is slightly warmer than the other. It's that level of difference. Like one side's in the light, one side's in the shade, kind of thing. And you're like that way. It's very broad. It's not very very centered. You are a distance away.
I feel like our characters would probably talk this out.
Yeah.
So, what is our plan? Pilot, you have agreed to this.
I would like to see Titania. I need to see her.
Well, we will need to stop and prepare for the journey into the Kingswood at some point.
Of course.
I've heard talk of Barrett's Mill. Perhaps that's somewhere we could stop for resupply?
Yes, it is. It is down the King's Road, but it is a little further south. It may not be terribly convenient.
Would it be best to stop at Storm's Fall? I feel like that would be our one-stop shop. We could fill up on rations. We could maybe even meet with some people that may be interested in venturing with us. I think this might be our best course of action.
I would agree.
I suppose that would be the plan.
And then from there, we should be able to head north, straight into the Kingswood.
Are you guys ready?
You would know best. I believe you've traveled these lands a fair bit.
How much do our characters know about where we're going in the Kingswood?
Alfonz knows nothing. Pilot's got a vague sense of direction. You are the most familiar with the Kingswood.
I mean, about like where we're going in the Kingswood, like.
Oh, they told us it would be on
Okay.
this.
Yeah, you're gonna get. Pilot is gonna Pilot's got like an inner compassy thing going.
So Theo, have this beautiful map with this suspicious clearing and big tree. Does Ilikhal have any sense of that?
No.
Okay, figured.
There's a big forest. Actually, the Kingswood covers most of from Storm's Fall all the way up to the Rory Crossroads, all the way to West Fork.
Okay.
And this is the big tree is just kind of there. And when drawing giant wood, that was about as much patience as I had. There's actually even a large, somewhat bit of Kingswood on the other side of the Kings Road going north. So the Kings Road actually passes through the Kingswood. It's just actively cleared and maintained by the Crown.
Yes, I would think Storm's Fall is our best course of action, and from there, hopefully, Ronald's mark may guide us, because the Kingswood is very large.
And what of your mark? Is that not giving you any sense of direction?
My snowflake thing?
Yeah.
No.
Isn't it just
cold?
Yeah.
I thought you mentioned that it also had a pole.
Oh, it does.
Does
I
it?
think it does. Yeah, because Mab took it from Alfonz and gave it to me and like did something to it, I think.
She definitely took it from Alfonz and gave it to you. I don't remember saying it gives a pull, but if it did,
I don't really care.
Pull
either way.
similarly.
It doesn't have to. Yeah.
It is not a messenger's mark or a messenger's brooch. It is a mark of the Winter Court, though. It doesn't serve the navigational purposes that the mark of the messenger does. And the mark of the messenger does not have the magical power that yours does. Similarly. So we're headed east towards Storm's Fall. Definitely at least one day. We're expecting somewhere between 6 and 7 days. It might be less than 6. You're just a little unsure of exactly where. There's no road mark right here like, hey, this is 40 miles or something. So on the first day, the day after the first day of spring, the second day of spring, if you will, you begin to march east. And it's a very nice day. For a group whose nerves are probably a little on end, it is quite nice. Can I get a survival check for the group and a perception check for the group?
All right, who wants to make those?
I can make those.
Yeah, you can just one group. So one person's doing it for the group. Someone can assist, and someone do a perception with advantage. Assist, or I can get 2 separates. If
I can do perception.
Okay. I can do survival. What's your bonus?
Let's get one of each of you for survival. Then let's do 2 separate rolls for survival because you're both equally skilled. And Alfonz roll advantage on perception.
We don't need to talk about my survival.
He's not having a great day.
So I've got 18.
18 on perception. Okay.
My survival's a 19.
19 on survival. Those are very good rolls. So on your first day, as you begin to travel east, Pilot, you notice many of the signs of coming spring. You notice animal activity. Ilikhal, you notice this as well. You're both proficient. The baby bunnies and the sound of young, fresh hatchling birds. They're like cheep, teep, 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 like the "Mom, I'm hungry" noises. You see a doe and a fawn pass through the woods nearby. You notice other simple signs of spring, budding wildflowers. Greenery is starting to sprout in certain areas. Things that you, Ilikhal, perfectly associate with the beginning of spring. Pilot, you have this innate understanding of the seasons, and you're like, yeah, this is this like internal clock of yours. It would be biological if you were carbon based. This internal calendar is like, yeah, it is. That's right. Yeah, spring is right. This feels right. You notice a few signs of predators in the area and easily avoid them. Ilikhal, you note a mountain lion marking on a tree, or a mountain lion, like scratching post style, clawed on a tree. Pilot, you notice the signs of potentially a bear at one point in the recent past, possibly the past like 2 or 3 days. Alfonz, perception-wise, keeping an eye out for other dangers, other things to notice.
Birds flying around.
Yeah, your bird doing his thing, burp, being a good familiar. You're the first to notice a sign that mentions the turnoff for Barrett's Mill is about a day away. So potentially, based on your knowledge and discussions with Ilikhal about like the area, you mentioned in Ilikhal potentially mentions, yeah, that means that we actually traveled a little further east than we thought we did. Maybe it's less than 6 days away. You do know the distance from Storm's Fall to Barrett's Mill. You can make that trip in like 2 days or a day and a half if you're on horse. You're gonna make your horse very tired making that trip. Generally, like on a walk, it's gonna be a little more. But you know the turnoff for Barrett's Mill is maybe if you take the west road instead of taking like the overland route you discussed, it's like 2.5 days on foot from Storm's Fall. And if that's a day away, you know, you've traveled pretty far. Around noontime, you come to a village, relatively populated. There are a few. There's a roadside inn that's got 2 stories, probably has 20 rooms. There's a little bit of movement. There are you see a few people in town. There's a logging train of like people with like donkeys and other things. It looks like they're headed east as well, potentially to the city to sell lumber. You see what appears to be a cart full of like quarried stone, driven by a dwarf, and he's got 2 huge rams is the only good way to say it. Like these enormous like mountain goats pulling this cart of stone. There are children playing, and it's like a nice day. As you pass through the town, should you choose, you can have lunch or whatever there if you want that. It's a good place to stop and just like have that rest about midday. You pass through the town, you continue on to the east. The sun starts to descend. A few clouds roll into the night sky. It doesn't look like rain's threatening. It looks like just a potential warning of a storm on the air a bit. It's gonna be a little overcast. It's gonna be tough to see the stars tonight. Maybe one of the moons will get obscured as the sun starts to set. You are not beset by any threats. You are able to make camp. And let's get a group survival check for a nice place to make camp for the night.
$18.
Solid.
I got
Better
a
than
14 for survival.
Me too.
Okay. Ilikhal, you note as you all kind of you meander a little bit. You and Pilot, like Alfonz, like kind of sticks to the road and just kind of like trods. Like he's got his staff as a stick and he's just going. And you and Pilot like wander on and off the road, very familiar with the landscape. Like you're comfortable. Like your sense of direction is pretty spot on all the time. Pilot is very quick. You've got long strides. You're not worried about getting left in the dust, either of you. And Alfonz is kind of the pace setter because of that. So whatever pace Alfonz is going is what pace the group keeps. And you guys, you meander back and forth. Occasionally, like you see like wild game potentially.
We're like dogs like running around in the forest while they're on their walks.
Exactly.
Here, guys.
Finding like there to some extent, if you guys wanted to like try to find like some wild game or something, like you would be capable of doing that while traveling should you be unaccosted by other things. Ilikhal, you find
got salt.
a overturned, like a recently felled tree. Looks like it was struck by lightning in a recent storm, and the tree died and fell over. And you're like, this would, and it's fallen over onto a small like bed of stone, which just it looks like a nice like it's dry. It looks like you just somewhere to like have something solid to your back, and looks like you could build a fire easily in this space without causing other trouble. And there's, because the tree has fallen over, it's taken out some of the canopy above, which if it were to rain would be kind of unfortunate, but does give plenty of room for the smoke to clear. It's like a natural chimney in the woods.
Nice.
So you find a place to make camp. However you do so, Alfonz probably uses his newly found prestidigitation skill to light a fire if you guys choose to.
Yeah, didn't even know it did that.
It can light a fire or a torch,
right?
Or a pipe, and you make camp for the night. What conversation takes place over this day of travel?
Is there a flat piece of rock anywhere? Like a decently large that
like,
I could
go
cook
ahead.
something on?
You could. Oh, you want like a slab of stone to like use as like a griddle?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Make an investigation check in this area.
Like a hot rock?
Yeah.
And throw it in the fire and then pull it out?
That's an 18 on investigation.
In searching where this tree has fallen into this bed of stone, you notice it is actually it's slight. So there are a few very rough patches, and in like looking at it and just kind of like tapping at it, you pull off probably about like a cookie sheet size of slate that's maybe an inch thick.
I placed it on top of the fire that I assume Alfonz probably made.
Okay.
And I very obviously take out the one piece of a suspicious shroom.
Okay.
And I cook it in front of them.
Okay.
On top of the slab. And I cut it into 3 pieces.
Okay.
And I offer a piece to Ilikhal and I offer a piece to Alfonz.
Okay.
No.
Yep.
Do I recognize this mushroom?
Make
Is
a
something
nature
I've
check,
seen
please.
before?
God, can I do a nature check too?
I think my nature is kind of shit. I think it's intelligence, isn't it? Yeah, it is. 13.
Oh, nat 1.
Oh, Alfon's gonna get high.
Could be tasty.
I got a 13.
I also have a +3 on that, so it's a 4.
Yep, that's just a shame you rolled a natural 1 though.
I don't want to eat this though.
4 is definitely not gonna do it for you anyway.
It doesn't mean I have to force it down my throat.
No, absolutely.
Though, right?
You feel free to eat it. It's a mushroom. She found, or
pilot
Ronald found in a cave. It's still cave mushroom. There are edible cave mushrooms. There are non-edible cave mushrooms. There are psychedelic cave mushrooms. You are not able to identify this particular species of mushroom.
I offer it to them. And I take one for myself.
Okay.
And I hold it up.
I guess I take mine and hold it up and just examine it a little closely with my 4.
So I'll describe it a little better. Plain gray mushrooms. They're gray throughout. Even the stems and the top. So like the whole, they almost, I mean, they're warm now. They're a little toasty. They're a little squishy because they're warmer. They look almost, they're like a mix between like a stone and like a cloud gray, like a storm cloud gray. Like it's pretty, like it's hard to describe like gray poetically. They're gray. But they're.
Can you describe the underside of the mushroom for me? Under the cap? Are we flat? Is there like the ridgy things?
It's like the rib.
I'm not eating this mushroom.
What does KGlow know about mushrooms?
It looks like a mushroom.
Not eating this
I
mushroom.
don't know. To me, that signals nothing about mushrooms. So like that, it looks like a mushroom.
I think the ridgy thingies normally mean it's toxic.
Does it? Okay, I'm not trying to signal that at all. I'll be
Okay.
blatant. I'm not trying to signal anything based on their color or shape or anything like that. This is just pure description.
I love the things we spend time on.
They
Might I interest you in this chanterelle instead?
When he's talking, can I quickly?
Nope.
Consume?
Unless it's your own mouth.
Ooh.
No.
Oh,
no.
you could, but that's a little PvPe.
Oh, that's true.
That's a little rude. I'm not gonna stop you if you really want to, but I'm not encouraging players shoving things in other players' mouths without their consent.
No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it to Alfonz.
You're more than welcome to eat yours, and we'll see what the side effects are.
We don't even know if Pilot can get high.
We don't even know if these mushrooms will make you get high.
Yeah, but we won't know. But also, they've been poisoned, so.
That's true.
Could I put it in my mouth but not swallow it and pretend to eat it?
I think Elizabeth just laughed downstairs at my big sigh.
Moving right along.
You can try, is what we'll say.
I'm willing to get high.
Are you gonna eat it?
Sure, why not?
Okay, you eat your slice of mushroom. So Bail's eating their slice of mushroom along with Pilot.
No. I'm just looking at mine.
I politely decline, and I load my pipe with the fancy stuff we bought from the Cauldron of Everything.
Okay. Pilot.
Yeah.
Roll a D100.
This doesn't sound good.
I got a 79.
Okay. Pilot, you eat this mushroom. It's warm. Kind of squishy because it's warm. It's weird. It's got like for those of you who smell, it's kind of got a roasted smell. It's cooked a little bit. Pilot, as you sit there after consuming this mushroom, you're like, oh, it's fine. Totally edible. You're sitting among,
and then the wave hits.
You're sitting among the the fire with your.
Wait, right after I eat it, can I climb into a tree?
No.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. You climb up a tree.
Yeah.
Sitting on a branch.
I have the high ground now.
And you're like, oh, how lovely.
I have the high ground now, Alfonz.
You two see Pilot climb up into the tree. Ronald, climb up into the tree and sit there. And for the next hour, or not the next hour, sorry, for the next 10 minutes, you start to see things. And you're looking at Ilikhal and you're looking at Alfonz, and you see there's stuff moving out here. There is so much more activity than you were thinking that there was. You looked around before. You saw everything. There's like animal life and stuff, and it's fine, but there is so much more out here. For the next 10 minutes, you see both the ethereal plane and the material plane at the same time. Simultaneously overlapping over your vision, you see these creatures moving through the ethereal plane amongst everything. The ethereal plane and the material plane touch and overlap to some extent. And simultaneously, as you watch for the next 10 minutes, everything moving through the ethereal plane is in plain view.
I want to call up to them and go, Pilot, how's it going up there?
Yeah, that's some good shit. You should try some of that.
Ilikhal eats his.
Okay.
I wanna.
When in Rome, I guess I'll eat mine
Okay.
too.
Okay, roll D100.
How?
2d10. One is make one the tens place. Go, so roll
Okay.
one, call that the tens
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Roll another and call that the
69.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Okay. You'll call.
I don't. My brain isn't working.
Okay. I'll give you a minute. Let it process.
Yep. Thanks. 20.
Okay.
Took me a second.
This is great. Ilikhal. Eat your. No, we're gonna start with Alfonz. Alfonz,
Oh,
give
God.
me the language first.
Oh
Alfonz,
god.
you crunch. Yeah,
Before we go any further, my bird is sitting next to me.
that's fine.
Okay.
I
good.
want that to be part of the narrative
Okay.
if it happens.
All right. Yep.
You're welcome.
Great. Alfonz, your little owl friend is sitting next to you. You munch. It does have like a little bit of a toasted flavor, but it's also like a little bit of a burnt acidic-y flavor. Like it's okay, and like also like the aftertaste is terrible. Swallow it, and you're like,
It's a mushroom.
I don't get it. It doesn't feel like anything. And then it hits you. And everything's too big. And there's so many things around you, and they're crawling things, and there are wiggling things, and there's dirt and monsters, and they're on your skin, and you want to get them off, but they're everywhere. And you're too small, and the world is big, and trees are huge, and everything's wrong, and the ground is cold, and the ground is too big, and you're not this small. And you look at your bird, and it's enormous. It is thousands of times bigger than you, and you aren't like your body isn't there, right? And you realize your arms are glued to your sides, and your legs are glued together, and you can't move. And your bird looks at you and chomp and swallows you. And for the next minute, you have these hallucinations that you have been swallowed and are falling in a pit, and there are monsters in the darkness attacking you. And for a minute, that feels like a century. You have these terrifying hallucinations.
Alfonz had a bad trip.
Ilikhal, you watch this as Alfonz just like he starts to scream, like he is falling, and you're reaching out, and you're like, dude, what's going on? What's going on, Alfonz? Come on, Alfonz, it's gonna be fine. And Alfonz, after a year, it feels like forever, you come out of it, and Ilikhal is just holding your shoulders, like, what's going on, Ilikhal?
I just remembered you rolled a 69.
Yeah. Ilikhal, you eat yours. Like a couple seconds go by. Alfonz are freaking the fuck out, and you're like, dude, what's going on? Ilikhal, nothing happens. Nothing. You don't know. Nothing. You like, you're like, yeah, I mean, it tastes a little nutty, actually. You're like, yeah, okay. And then you're like, all right. Weird.
All right. That was fun.
Pilot and Alfonz. Roll D20.
9.
Okay.
Also a 9.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Alfonz.
It's fine. It's fine. We'll see what the 9 means.
You're good. Fine. As you know. Rolled 9s. Alfonz, you had a very unpleasant experience. Pilot, you had a very interesting experience.
I'm assuming that Alfonz's trip lasted a bit shorter than mine.
It was 1 minute. So you have 9 minutes of seeing into the ethereal plane beyond that.
Could I point out the things that I see?
Yeah.
To Alfonz?
Yep.
I was like, yeah, this is lovely.
They're weird things. Like, it's not like ghosts. Like, it's kind of like ghosts. Ghosts are in the ethereal plane. But there are these like winged snake creatures that'll fly by. There's a couple things that are bat-like. There's a spider at one point, like a pretty big spider, just kind of like walks by in the forest. Like I'm talking like 8-foot tall spider, like just just going on about his night.
Nice.
Yep. And that's you guys got set camp or something. You're sub camp. You gotta set watch. Are you gonna?
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
I can take the first watch. You two can sleep it off.
Very kind of you.
Okay.
And I just assume I'm gonna wake up Pilot for the middle watch. If no one says anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Everybody lays down. That's laying down. Ilikhal, make a perception check for your first watch.
5.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You get like a little bit of a stomach ache. Like doesn't like the mushroom. The third of a mushroom didn't sit well. Like in the middle of your watch, you have to go like just have a massive bowel movement. You're fine. Fine otherwise.
Okay.
That kind of distracts you. But your watch goes otherwise fine. You wake up, Pilot. Pilot, you awake middle of the night. Make a perception check for your watch.
That's a 15.
Oh, cocked. Okay. You know that the sky gets more overcast. Like you can't see the stars tonight. Just during your watch. Like as you woke up, like it was a little bit overcast, but the clouds really roll in during your watch. But other than that, you're unaccosted. You're no longer seeing the ethereal plane. Things are back to normal. Otherwise, your watch goes undisturbed. Are you going to stay up all night? You have enough to have been rested, I think. I think you require less rest. You're going to let Alfonz sleep the rest of the night?
I will. I'll let Alfonz snooze.
Okay.
Nice.
Alfonz had a bad trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sun rises. Alfonz, you have like not great dreams. Like you have like fever dreams level of dreams. It's very uncomfortable. Other than that, you wake up the next morning. It's a little overcast. It's very humid the next day. When the sun rises, it's got that like sunrise like when it looks like it's gonna rain and like you don't want to wake up, kinda like it's that kind of weather. Sun comes up, daylight occurs. It's not like the sunrise is more like daylight happens. You all wake up, make your breakfast, begin the walk east. Based on where you were, where you like the landmarks you found, you're expecting to see the cross for Barrett's Mill today, potentially late in the day, and then have another night, maybe 2 on the road, depending how well you travel. Need a survival check for the group for the day's travel and a perception check for the group for the day's travel.
I have a 23 for survival.
Cool.
Gasper.
Got a 13 for perception.
Solid. Okay.
I want to be asking Ilikhal about his family.
Please.
On this walk.
I would love to hear you ask Ilikhal about his family.
So are you very familiar with these parts? I imagine your tribe is from around here.
Yes, we came down this way very often. Barrett's Mill was a frequent stop for us.
Is it very far from here? Are they hospitable?
My home?
Yeah.
It's in the mountains to the west of here. And I point out like kind of the main peak where
Yep.
we're around a lot.
Hmm.
So
It's kind of
Ilikhal's.
it's kind of like right below West Fork on the map.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I'm imagining.
They're not nomadic, but they're always moving. Like they have
Yeah.
a territory.
They've got like spots, yeah.
But they're
Well, maybe if we have good fortune, we'll run into them one of these days.
Maybe
Or bad
we will.
fortune.
Yeah. So as you go, interesting pilot as you're traveling today, you notice 8 cardinals. The first one, like you saw a cardinal, and you're like, oh, look, a cardinal, nice little red bird flying, kind of crosses the path. And then like an hour later, you see another cardinal, and you're like, oh, cool, 2 cardinals. And through the rest of the day, you see 6 more cardinals, and you're like, I saw 8 cardinals today. That's a lot.
Are they
Like,
the
what are the
same one?
odds? No, it is not the same one as far as you were aware. They look like there's some. You see some males which are very flamboyantly red, like very red. You see some of the females which have like kind of a red face with the gray feathers. Like 8 cardinals. That's a lot. That's a lot to see in one day. Kind of interesting.
Do they look kind of sus? Like, are they
They look like cardinals.
they
Like,
spy birds? Are they real birds?
are birds real in this world? We don't know.
What's the birds bourgeoisie meme?
All of the birds died in 1985 due to Reagan killing them. The birds work for the bourgeoisie. That one. Yeah, but you see 8 cardinals like just throughout the day. Like it's one of those like the first one like stuck with you, and then you saw a second one. You're like, oh, cool, 2. That's neat. Usually you only see like one or 2 in a day, and you see 8. 8 cardinals. Ilikhal, as you're just kind of like walking down, you got your head down. Alfonz talking to you about your family. You're kind of like you're in that headspace.
I
You
tell him
remember,
about some of my siblings and
and you tell him about your mom.
yeah, I do.
Talk about your sibling Ilithea.
Yeah, Ilithea.
Ilithea.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, my twin sister.
Yeah. Talk about your cousin Caliph, who left the tribe years ago, due to like disputes over management. That sounds so businessy. Yeah, Alfonz, you being kind of like the eyes for social danger throughout. You do note a few riders go by. You see one Kingsguard on a white horse, at least a mostly white horse as he like flies by. You notice the Kingsguard emblem on his breastplate, along with the Kingsguard colors, the silver and blue of the Stormborn household, of the Storm Kings. You make note of that. You're like, wow, he was like going. You know, there's a few more travelers along the way. There's a family heading west, potentially to the village you passed the day before. Maybe they're on a cart. They have a dog. They have like this like terrier mutt, like a larger terrier mutt that is like, as you guys approach, he hops down and he just kind of like circles the whole group. Looks like potentially it was like a herding dog of some sort. Just a very excited doggo. And you saw them coming for a ways. It's a mother and a father with a baby and 7 or 8 year old, 7 or 8 year old boy. They can't tell the gender of the baby. But they're just having a long time. They like, the father gives like the whistle that I can't do, nor do I want to do right up on the mic. The like super high pitch. The dog comes back to us on the cart and they go, we're sorry. He's just so excited to get back to work.
I want to give the dog a little pat on the head.
You can.
A little scritch.
He will be accepting.
Oh, no problem at all.
Friendly family. And they give you like we're headed west, you're headed east, kind of thing. Have a good day. And around 5 p.m. late in the day, the sun we can set. You find the cross for Barrett's Mill, which would be to your south. It looks like it would be another half-day travel, which you would have to, if you were going to Barrett's Mill, it would be like midnight by the time you got there. If you continue on through the rest of the day, you make another 2 hours before you need to find camp. Unaccosted again. This is of like the well-patrolled areas. You're like you're literally at the king's doorstep. So like this is like if there were bandits here, they would get taken care of pretty quick. So you're feeling pretty safe. And like everybody, like you see, they're like everyone that you've passed and everything, they're all like hardly any worries in the world. Other than like the weather or work, like they all look like people. It's not a lot of like extremely sketch going on. You have passed plenty of like individual travelers, groups of travelers. Those are some of like the notable ones. Mm-hmm. This is a very well traveled road. Looking for somewhere to camp the night, you actually come across a village right at dusk, and there is a small inn if you would like to stay here for the night. It looks like it's a roadside. It's like it's a copper piece kind of like night, like it's a bed. It's not, there's nothing fancy here. They might have 15 rooms or something, but it's a thatched roof inn. They probably would provide a hot meal, and it's probably like a day, almost exactly like a day from Storm's Fall. Like that's the kind of vibe you get with it being that close.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, why not?
Quick rest.
All right. You note on the sign, it's the tumble and timber. Like it might be like a attempt at like a raunchy name, maybe. Like it's like you look at it, you're like, is that an innuendo? Is that a double entendre? I don't know. Like it's not good if it is. Or it could just mean like it's something logging related. Like it's outside of your purview either way. Like it's either a bad dirty joke or like something lumberjacky that you don't get. You go inside and there is a portly woman. Portly, I say like she's tall, she's broad shouldered, she looks like she works, kind of motherly in a way too, like incredibly hospitable though. She comes, welcome. Good evening. Can I get anything for you? It's not quite late yet, but we have dinner, we have a room if that's what you need.
Dinner in a room would be lovely.
Dinner in a room. Oh, wonderful. And a Goliath too. Oh, well, it hasn't been that long since I've seen something of a kind, but oh, so wonderful. I love the mountain people. Our beds, you'll be a little cramped, but it's okay. We have, which is vibing always.
Yeah,
a little bit of a himbo. We love.
You've heard this so much.
And you, sir, look quite interesting. You look like you've quite well traveled. Talking to Alfonz, who is the most flamboyant of the three of you. Dinner in a room. Can I get you an ale? Can I get you a wine? Can I get you a nice cool glass of water pulled from the well? Any of these are possible here at the Tumble and Timber.
A glass of wine would be lovely.
A glass of wine, white or red. We actually have both. Fresh out of the city.
Let's do a red.
A red. Okay, great.
What's on the menu?
We actually have a wonderful, wonderful meat pie tonight.
Mm.
Well, then a red would be lovely.
Red indeed. Same for you, good Goliath, sir.
I will take an ale, please.
An ale, and you. Just like you're pilot. You're not interesting to her at all. Just, you're the guy that's traveling with the two interesting people. And for you, what can I get for you?
Same as the fancy one.
Same as the fancy one. Always a good choice. Going with the fancy ones, of course. Yes, okay, I'll be right back. Please take a seat. And she gestures to there are a few square tables. There's like one round table. Like it's an amalgam.
Two-
Like
two
it's
by
not
three.
decorated well. It's just like they have tables and chairs. Like they're doing the best to fill a room with furniture. There's a big hearth, fairly big hearth. It's got like a small fire in it, but it's pretty warm in here already. She goes back into the kitchen and we hear some like clanging pots and pans and stuff. And she comes out in with like 3 dishes. She's got 2 on one arm, 1 on the other, and she slips one down on the table wherever you choose to sit. Boom, boom, 2 others, and it's like a nice meat pie. Slices of meat pie, like just steaming beef. It's like it's great. It's meat pie, gravy, peas and carrots and onions and garlic and beef. It's great.
Nice.
And she comes by with the glasses of wine, one for the fancy man, one for the not so fancy man, and a big flagon of ale for the Goliath. And she goes, "Okay, do enjoy, and if you need anything, just wave. My name is Lucille. If you need anything, also I'll get your room key. Is that one room for the 3 of you, or would you like separate?" Or she it's like a gesture of like, are you like companions, or are you like companions?
I mean, if there's openings, I'm sure we'd all wouldn't mind a separate room.
Yeah.
A little bit of separation from the person who drugged me last night.
You
preferably.
drugged yourself.
I didn't force you to eat it.
You almost did.
She thought about it.
You've got intentions.
But did I act on those intentions, Kay? Did I?
No.
I put down, it was 3 copper, you said?
It is 1 copper piece for the night stay, 3 copper pieces for like meals with the night stay.
Could I put down a silver?
You could. That would pay for all of your rooms.
I put down a silver.
Okay. She goes like, and she like starts ruffling around like she's gonna give you change.
No, thank you.
Oh, well, you're such a dear. And she takes it. She puts silver in like a separate. She's got like a waitress's apron with like a bunch of different pockets on it, and she drops it into one. She's got like a couple like some silverware in another, and it looks like a spatula or a large spoon and something. But yeah, you stay the night. Their rooms. There's a bed. There's no fireplace. There's like a small window. It's not like a full size window. It's almost like an arrow slit like level of window. It's just really tall. It's probably about less than a foot wide. Like you couldn't get out of it. It doesn't even look like it opens. It's just kind of like a window. But there is a bed. It's hay. Like it's just bound hay, but it is better than the ground. It's slightly more comfortable than your bedroll. And you can lock the door, so slightly safer. The night passes. Pilot, you have dreams of the Winter Queen, like standing in front of you. She is just all beauty and grace and elegance and terror and darkness all at once. She's just looking at you. And then she looks off to the side and she says something to somebody at your side. And you're unaware of what she said. And she reaches out and she touches you. And you kind of like do something. She says something, and she says, and nothing catches your ears. It's just, she says something. It's just beyond your memory. If a memory at all. Could be a dream. Alfonz, you have a dream of your dog back home and playing in the gardens of your family's estate. It's quite pleasant. You enjoy it significantly more than the bad trip you had last night. And Ilikhal, you have no dreams. You just have a very nice night's sleep all the way through, not having to take a watch, even though you are slightly curled up. Next morning you awake, you are able to have breakfast. There is it's not a meat and eggs breakfast. It's like there's like oatmeal or porridge or something carb heavy, but it is included. You can have it in a glass of whatever. But it's just a very simple fare, like it is boom boom traveler's breakfast on the road. And you get on the road. And you expect maybe today you'll make it to the capital city. If you make good time. Can I get a survival check for the group?
I don't know why I bother.
That is a 13 from me.
I got a 13 as well.
13 as well. Lucky number 13. Awesome. As you walk, the cloud becomes more overcast and it's threatening rain, threatening rain, threatening rain. Then it doesn't. It just kind of blows over. You're like, oh, good. Not another day of walking like in the rain. Because nothing's worse than spending a day walking in the dang rain. Your boots get wet. Your head gets wet. There's just no escaping it. Especially this far south. They'll call there are days where it starts raining and it feels like it doesn't stop for months. But as noon approaches, you stop, you eat lunch, you have a small rest, and you approach into the afternoon. Can I get a perception check for social dangers or other non-survival based dangers?
19.
Nice.
19. We're gonna accept that. Alfonz, you start to note there's a lot more traffic. There are multiple groups on horses. You see at one point a what appears to be some sort of noble, must be based on the carriage that goes by. It's a carriage with 4 horses, and there are 2 guards. There's a guard that leads and a guard that follows the carriage, and there's the legitimate carriage driver, footman sitting next to the carriage driver, and a guard that sits on the back. So this whoever this is travels with 3 guards. The windows of the carriage are curtained over, and the carriage goes by. It's not ornate, but it was nice. You also note at one point a lone knight with a symbol of a 7-pointed star on his shield. You notice the shield hanging on his back. You notice it on his saddle as he's driving. He has a shield and a sword resting in his scabbard beside the shield, having a 7-pointed star on it. He rides by, and it's not like a fancy horse, but it's still, the man's mounted. He obviously has a little bit of money. You pass a couple potential pilgrims or something. Again, it's people in a monk's habit with the vow party tied with a rope. Looks like they're doing that kind of thing. And you note one, not a company of Kingsguard. It's like a squad. It's there are 4 Kingsguard on foot that pass by you, headed west down the King's Road, and it looks like they're just on patrol for the day. As evening approaches, towards probably 4:30, almost 5 p.m., the forest starts to feel thinner. There's traffic has died down a little bit, but you notice it feels like you're headed downhill. And then, as you clear the trees, your breath is taken from you. As your gaze is filled with the sight of the capital of the Northern Reaches. The city of Storm's Fall lay in front of you.